Mute everybody. Okay, welcome to Wednesday evening yoga. Let me just get started. You see and hear me okay? Great. So, just coming to the top of your mat and starting in a standing position tonight, coming into Tadasana, our mountain pose. So taking the feet roughly about a hip width distance apart, just feeling all four corners rooted down into the earth. Gently close the eyes, take a soft bend through the knees, engage through that pelvic floor, Mula Bandha, engage through the core, the Uddiyana Bandha. Take the shoulders up and back down your back, dropping the shoulders down your back, standing nice and tall. Feel the length all the way up along the spine. And just bring your awareness and your focus into the room, onto your mat. Checking in, maybe doing a quick body scan here, feeling the energy in the earth coming up through the soles of the feet, up through the legs, checking in with the body, noticing the breath, breathing nice and deeply, beginning to find the Ujjayi breathing, breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose. Nice long inhales, nice long exhales. Staying with that breath, using the breath to help guide and support your practice. And then from here, just gently tucking the chin, maybe open the eyes, tucking the chin towards the chest. And then starting to just roll down through the spine, coming through into nice easy forward fold, taking a bend through the knees. Just rolling through the spine, coming into that nice easy forward fold, just hanging here for a breath. And then inhaling, and as you inhale, taking an even deeper bend through the knees, and start to uncurl through the spine, coming up nice and slowly, vertebra by vertebra, feeling that spine moving as you gently uncurl, coming all the way back up to standing into our mountain pose, nice and tall. And we'll repeat one more time, tucking the chin towards the chest, starting to come forward into that forward fold, taking the spine and curling through the spine. Nice, slow, gentle movements, just making your way into a nice, easy forward fold, and just hanging in the forward fold for a breath. And inhaling, starting to uncurl through the spine, coming up nice and slowly, stacking one vertebra on top of the other. Moving through that spine, nice and slowly, making your way all the way back up. Coming into the mountain pose, Tadasana, standing nice and tall. Take a nice long inhale, a nice long exhale. And then we'll move through classical Surya Namaskara. So inhaling, taking the arms all the way up through the midline of the body, reaching the arms all the way up to the sky. Exhaling, coming through into nice easy forward fold, taking a bend through the knees. Inhaling, taking a step back with that right foot, dropping that right leg down onto the mat, letting go of those right toes, coming into a low lunge here, Anjasana. Holding here for a breath or two, maybe dynamically moving in and out of the lunge. Taking some nice gentle movements, just encouraging the joints to open. Moving with the breath, remembering the bandhas. And then holding in that low lunge here for another breath. And then picking up that left knee and taking that left knee back parallel to the right. On the exhale, sitting all the way back over your heels, coming into Balasana, child's pose. Staying here for a breath or two, remembering that any point in your practice, you can come back to Balasana, child's pose, rest, and join back in when you can if you need to. Remembering it's always an option at any point in the class. Taking a nice long inhale, a nice long exhale, and then inhaling, coming through into tabletop and holding in tabletop here on the exhale. Inhaling, moving through cat-cow, dropping the belly, looking up towards the sky with the head, taking the tailbone towards the sky. Exhaling, coming into cat, lifting up the belly, dropping the tailbone, dropping the head. Inhaling, coming in one direction through our cow. Exhaling, taking the spine in the other direction, coming through our cat. Just breathing with the movement, moving through that cat-cow, taking some articulation through the spine, and then coming back to center. And then slowly taking yourself down to lying face down onto the mat, taking your hands just outside the sides of our mat, coming into our waving baby Bhujangasana, cobra pose. Inhaling, coming halfway up, and then exhaling, and then moving with the breath from side to side, through the shoulders, through the upper back, trying to let the tension go through the shoulders. Remembering that's where we tend to hold all the tension that we gather through the day. So just letting it all go, relaxing, releasing. And then taking yourself back down to lying face down on the mat, taking the hands underneath the shoulders, inhaling, engaging the core, lifting up into that tabletop. Exhaling, coming all the way back, sitting on your heels, taking your arms out in front of you, coming into child's pose. Take a nice long inhale, a nice long exhale. And inhaling, coming into tabletop, at the same time picking up that right leg, take that right foot in front of you, and then coming into our Anjasana, maybe coming in and out dynamically, just encouraging those joints to loosen up, warming up through the muscles, getting ready for our practice, moving with the breath, being mindful of the breath all the way throughout the practice. And then coming forward and holding in that low lunge, maybe noticing you're that little bit deeper after coming through some dynamic movements. And then from here, inhaling, coming onto the toes of that back left foot, and then picking up that left foot and stepping forward, taking it parallel to the right, about a hip width distance apart. And coming to that nice easy forward fold, bending through the knees. Clasping opposite elbows, coming into a ragdoll here, holding in the ragdoll just for a few breaths. Maybe moving from side to side if this feels good for you. But remember, it's your practice. Only come wherever feels good for you. So if moving from side to side doesn't feel good, then stay here and just kind of enjoy opening up through the hamstrings, enjoying the release through the neck and the shoulders, just letting everything go. And then inhaling, starting to come all the way up, starting to curl up again through the spine, keeping those knees bent, just rolling up through that spine, nice and easily. Coming all the way back to Tadasana, our mountain pose. Hands to your heart center, Samastiti. Well done, so repeat everything through the left side. So again, just checking all four corners of the feet are connected to the earth, feet about a hip width distance apart. Soft micro bend through the knees to feel that rebound from the earth. Core engaged, shoulders back and down. Head just sitting on top of the spine. Inhaling, lifting the arms all the way through the midline of the body, reaching all the way up to the sky. Exhaling, keeping your bending knees coming into that nice, easy forward fold, shoulders away from the ear. Inhaling, taking a step back with that left leg this time, dropping down onto that left knee, letting go of those left toes. Holding here through our Anjasana on this side. Inhaling and exhaling, feeling the stretch through that right hip, left hip flexor, sorry. And then inhaling, coming up, taking the chest up towards the sky, staying here if that's where it feels good. If you'd like a little bit more, lifting the arms all the way up the sky, reaching nice and long. And then exhaling, taking the hands outside that front right foot. Picking up that right leg, stepping back with that right leg, and then sitting all the way back onto the heels, coming into child's pose. Take a nice long inhale, a nice long exhale, and inhaling again, coming all the way back through into that neutral tabletop position. From here, inhaling as you inhale, lifting that right arm and that left leg and stretching them in opposite directions. Again, engaging the muscles all the way along the spinal column. Exhaling back to center. Inhaling, left arm, right leg, reaching all the way out, finding the length Exhaling back to center. One more time each side. Inhaling, right arm, left leg, reaching them all the way out, opposite directions. Exhaling back to center. Inhaling, left arm, right leg, feeling the extension all the way through that spine. Exhaling, coming back to center. And then slowly lowering yourself down to lying face down onto the mat. Taking your hands now just underneath the shoulders, moving through some baby Bhujangasanas, really engaging through the core, engaging along the muscles on the spine. Inhaling, coming up, only coming up halfway, but really using the back rather than the hands to lift you up. Exhaling back to center. Inhaling, lifting up, taking the hands off the mats. Exhaling back to center. And one more time. Inhaling, maybe lifting the hands up off the mat, so you're actually just using the muscles in your back. Exhaling back to center. Well done. Inhaling, lifting all the way up into tabletop, using that core. Exhaling, sitting all the way back into Balasana, child's pose. Take a nice long inhale. A nice long exhale. Inhaling, coming back through into all fours. And then taking that left leg and taking that left leg forward in between your hands at the front of the mat. Coming into that low lunge now through that right hip flexor. Again, holding here, making sure the shoulders are away from the ears. Nice long spine, core engaged. And inhaling, taking the chest up, reaching the chest up towards the sky, holding here. This feels good for you. If you'd like a little bit more, lifting the arms up and reaching the arms up towards the sky as you reach the chest up towards the sky. And then exhaling, coming all the way back down, taking the hands outside that front left foot. Inhaling, coming onto the toes of that back right foot. And then picking up that right foot, stepping forward to meet the left. Feet hip-width distance apart, soft bend through the knees, come into that nice, easy forward fold. Holding here for a few breaths, starting to feel that spine relax. Feeling the shoulders relax, feeling all the tension just dripping away from the shoulders, the head, the neck. Maybe taking some nice, easy, yes, no movements. Some nice, neat, easy head circles. Check in. What feels good for you here? What does your body need to relax? And again, taking a soft bend through the knees, just start to uncurl through the spine, stacking one vertebra on top of the other, coming up nice and slowly. No rush here, just making your way all the way back up to that mountain pose, taking the hands to the heart center. Samastiti. Well done. Take a nice long inhale, a nice long exhale, and then setting up for tree pose of Krasner. Taking the hands onto the waist, taking the weight into that left foot, really feel it, your root, like you're rooting down into the earth through that left foot. Right foot to the ankle or to the calf, or just above the knee or up into the inner thigh. Wherever you're at in your practice tonight, taking the hands to the heart center, holding here, remembering never placing that foot directly on the knee, either above or below it. Engaging through the core, dropping the shoulders, finding that drishti point for the gaze, remembering the breath. Feeling the connection between the foot and the thigh. Feeling the connection to the earth. Feeling the support and stability that the earth offers. And then gently release, coming back to center. Well done. Remember, if you need to go to a chair or a wall, that's absolutely fine. Everyone's at different stages in their yoga journey, and sometimes your balance is good, sometimes it's not so good. It just depends on the day. So, coming into the right, placing that right foot down into the earth, grounding down. Taking the left foot to the ankle or the calf, above the knee or up into the inner thigh, feeling the connection to the earth, feeling the connection between that foot and the thigh, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, standing nice and tall, Breathing nice and deeply, exhaling nice and slowly. Really feeling centered, feeling grounded. Watching the breath, monitoring the breathing, checking in. And then gently release, and back to center. Well done. Just walk and pedal the feet just a little bit. And then stepping back up to the top of the mat, setting up for our Surya Namaskara A, Sun Salutation A. So taking the feet together if you can, but if you prefer to keep your feet a good distance apart, that's fine too. Remember, listen, check in with that lower back, what feels good for that lower back. So inhaling, lifting the arms all the way up to the sky, reaching nice and tall and extending through that ribcage. Exhaling, coming through into that forward fold, straight or bent knees, whatever feels good for you, wherever you're at tonight. Inhaling, coming halfway up into our L shape, taking your fingertips onto the shins and using that traction to find that length along the spine, shoulders away from the ears, core lifted. Exhaling, coming all the way back down into that forward fold. Inhaling, taking a step back with one foot, and taking a step back with the other foot, and pushing yourself back into your downward facing dog. Take a nice long inhale, a nice long exhale, and then slowly lowering down onto the knees, coming all the way down onto the chest. Taking the hands just outside, mat coming onto our gecko fingertips, and inhaling, coming all the way through into that full Bhujangasana, and taking your gaze over to that right shoulder, and exhaling, coming back to center. Inhaling, lifting up, taking the gaze over to that left shoulder. Exhaling, coming back to center. Taking the hands underneath the shoulders, inhaling, coming back up into that neutral tabletop. Exhaling, coming all the way through into that downward facing dog. Take a nice long inhale, nice long exhale. Moving through some core work here with some work through the sides. If you prefer to do this on your hands and knees and tabletop, then by all means come down onto your hands and knees and work through the movements on your hands and knees. If you'd like to join me in down dog, then we'll begin by taking that right leg up. On the inhale, coming into that three-legged dog. On the exhale, pulling that right knee all the way into the chest. Inhaling, reaching that right leg all the way up. Exhaling, coming all the way through into plank, taking that right knee to that right elbow. Exhaling, coming all the way into three-legged dog. And then coming all the way forward, taking that right knee to that left elbow. And then coming all the way back into that three-legged dog. And then from here, taking that right knee forward again and dropping that right knee down onto the mat to begin with. Taking that right foot behind you, setting up for our Shavasana, our side plank. So there are options here. We'll start with this option, where you keep that knee down onto the mat and just opening up through that left side. If you'd like a little bit more, taking that right foot back behind that left foot and holding here, lifting the hips up towards the sky as you reach that left hand up. If you'd like even more, taking that left foot, stacking it on top with the right and reaching all the way up and lifting the hips up away from the earth. Taking the gaze towards that left thumb if you have your balance. If not, take your gaze down to the earth. Breathing here nice and deeply, really engaging through that core. And then exhaling, coming all the way through and just dropping down onto the knees here. And then sitting back into child's pose. Take a nice long inhale. A nice long exhale. And then inhaling, coming all the way back through onto all fours. Exhaling, curling through the toes and lifting the hips, coming all the way back into downward facing dog. Inhaling, picking up that right foot again, taking that right foot all the way up into a three-legged dog. Exhaling, right knee to the chest, and then dropping that right foot between your hands at the front of the mat, setting up for our high lunge. So checking the feet are roughly about a hip width distance apart here. And then elongating along the spine, nice long spine. And then as you exhale, taking a soft bend through that back knee, engaging through the core and lifting yourself all the way up, setting up for a high lunge. So if you're feeling a little bit wobbly, just check. Maybe take the feet a little bit further apart in terms of the width of the mat, so you've got a nice, strong, stable base. Moving through some dynamic lunges. Shoulders away from the ears, core in and up. Inhaling, reaching all the way up. Exhaling, dropping into that high lunge. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, dropping down. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, lowering down. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, lowering down. And one more time. Inhaling. And exhaling and holding here. Open your heart towards the sky. Shoulders away from the ears, core engaged. Exhaling, taking the hands all the way outside that front foot. Dropping that back left knee, letting go of those left toes. Taking that right hand inside that right foot. Walking that right foot forward of the right hand. And then taking that right foot diagonally and pointing the toes into the top right corner of the mat. Setting up for some hip opening work here. A variation of our lizard pose. So holding here. Breathing nice and deeply, feeling the opening up through the hips, shoulders away from the ears, trying to keep that upper body nice and relaxed here. Just enjoying the release and the opening up through the hips. Staying here, this is where it feels good for you. If you'd like a little bit more, you can drop down onto your forearms and come and rest on your forearms and deepen that stretch through that hip. But only come here, this is where it feels good for you. Remember, it's your practice, it's your journey. Everybody's at different stages in their journey. So it's just about learning to be accepting of wherever you're at on your mat now, knowing that everything comes in time with practice. So just enjoy being where you're at, just enjoy moving with the breath. If you were on your forearms, coming back up onto your hands. And then taking that right hand back outside that right foot. And then starting to walk that right foot back more in towards the middle of the mat here in between your hands. Coming up onto those left toes. And then swiveling that left foot around so the left foot's, the sole of the foot's flat onto the earth, coming in about a 45-degree angle. Keeping that bend through that front right knee. Taking your forearm to rest on that bent right leg. Inhaling, lifting that left arm up and over that left ear. And setting up for our Krasner extended side angle pose. Holding here for a breath or two. Feeling the extension all the way through that left side of the body. Feeling the energy moving down diagonally, up and down that left side. Relaxing through the shoulders, but keeping that core tight and engaged. And then inhaling, wimmling that arm all the way up, coming through into our warrior two, holding in our Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. And then moving dynamically in and out, inhaling, reaching up, exhaling, coming back down. Inhaling, reaching up, exhaling, coming back down. And then inhaling, reaching up, and exhaling and holding in that warrior 2. Noticing you may come that little bit deeper each time you move dynamically through. And then straightening out through that front right leg, moving through into our Trikonasana. Taking a straighter front right leg, all over. Remember, if you have a tendency to over straighten or if you have any issues through the knee, you can keep a soft bend. Taking the arms up to shoulder height. Inhaling, reaching all the way out to the right. And then exhaling, taking that right arm down inside that right thigh. As you take that left arm up towards the ceiling. Shoulders relaxed, core in. Really reaching up towards the sky with that left hand, feeling the stretch and elongation through that left side of the body. Breathing nice and deeply. Exhaling nice and slow. And then release, coming all the way back up to center. Taking the hands onto the waist, swiveling that foot around, that right foot around, so both feet are facing that long side of the mat. And let's just move nice and easy from side to side. Taking nice gentle range of movement through the hips, through the legs, through the shoulders. Just keeping everything nice and loose, easy. Keeping that core tight, but keeping everything else relaxed. And then coming back to center, taking the hands down onto the mat in front of you, creating like an L shape through the torso here. Keeping that right hand down onto the mat, lifting up that left arm on the inhale, reaching that left arm up towards the right arm up towards the skies, the left arm roots down to the earth. And then release back to center. Rooting down to the earth with that right hand as you lift that left arm all the way up to the sky. Exhaling back to center. Inhaling, lifting that right arm all the way up. Exhaling, coming to center. And inhaling, lifting the left arm, looking up towards the sky. Exhaling, coming back to center. Well done. Then start to walk the hands over towards that left foot. Swivel that left foot around. So now that left foot's forward and your right foot's back, coming back onto those right toes. Planting the hands just outside that left foot, and then lifting up that right foot, stepping forward, coming into a forward fold here, facing the opposite direction. And then from here, taking a soft bend through the knees. And then just slowly unwind and curl through that spine, coming all the way back up to standing into our mountain pose. Shoulders back and down, core engaged, all four corners of the feet rooted to the earth, soft bend through the knees. And let's repeat our Surya Namaskara on this side. So again, you can take your feet together. If you need to keep your feet hip width distance apart, that's fine too. Inhaling, lifting the arms all the way up to the sky. Exhaling, coming all the way through into that forward fold. Inhaling, coming halfway up into our L shape, taking our fingertips onto our shins, elongating that spine, feeling that reach and that length all the way across along the spine. Exhaling, coming back to center into a forward fold, knees straight or bent. And then inhaling, taking a step back with one foot, and taking a step back with the other foot. And then exhaling, pushing yourself all the way back into a downward facing dog. Take a nice long inhale, a nice long exhale. And then dropping down onto the knees, lowering yourself down onto the mat, coming to lie face down on the mats. Making sure the tops of the feet are connected to the earth. Taking the hands again just outside the mat, coming up onto our gecko fingertips, ready for our full Bhujangasana Cobra pose. Inhaling, coming all the way up. Exhale, and then looking up over that right shoulder, and then as you exhale, come all the way down. Again, inhaling, looking up and over that left shoulder. Exhaling, coming all the way back to center. Inhaling, lifting up, looking over that right shoulder. Exhaling, coming back to center. And one more time on the left. Inhaling, looking up over that left shoulder. Exhaling, coming all the way back to center. Taking the hands underneath the chest. Inhaling, coming into tabletop. Exhaling, taking the hips over the heels, reaching the hips up towards the sky. Coming into that downward facing dog. And then inhaling, lifting that left leg, taking that left leg into a three-legged dog. Exhaling, pulling that left knee to the chest. Inhaling, reaching up with that left foot. Exhaling, left leg, left knee to left elbow. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, left knee to right elbow. Inhaling, reaching all the way up. As you exhale, taking that knee forward again, but then dropping that knee onto the mat, taking the left foot behind you, setting up for Shavasana through this side. So taking that left hand, just planting it down onto the earth, and then lifting that right arm up towards the sky, Coming into Shavasana here. If this is where it feels good for you, but you want to stay, then stay here. If you'd like a little bit more, taking that left foot behind the right and lifting those hips up towards the sky, lifting that right hand all the way to the sky. Staying here, or if you'd like a little bit even more, taking that right foot stacking on top of the left, lifting those hips towards the sky, lifting that right arm towards the sky. Rooting down into the earth through that left palm. Drishti can be up or down, wherever you can keep your balance. And then gently release, coming all the way back down onto all fours. Holding here, taking a nice long inhale. Nice long exhale. And then when you're ready, curling through the toes, lifting up the hips, reaching all the way back into a downward facing dog. Inhaling, lifting that left leg, taking all the way to the sky. Exhaling, left leg in towards the chest, dropping that left foot between your hands. Dropping that right knee down, letting go of those right toes, coming into a low lunge. Taking that left arm inside the left foot. Taking that left foot inside to walk it forward of that left hand. And taking that left foot and taking it diagonally, pointing it into the top left corner of the mat. And staying here and holding here in our modified lizard pose. Breathing nice and deeply, exhaling nice and slowly, shoulders away from the ears, head nice and relaxed, shoulders nice and relaxed. Just easing into this pose, feeling the release. If you'd like a little bit more, then coming down onto the forearms and holding on the forearms for a few breaths. But remember, it's your practice, it's your yoga journey. Everybody's at different stages. So just breathe, relax, accept wherever your hips are at tonight. And just breathe into those hips, letting the tension go from the shoulders, from the neck. And then inhaling, view on your forearms, coming up onto your hands. And then taking that left hand back outside, that left foot. Start to walk that left foot more in towards the center of the mat. Inhaling, coming onto the toes of that back right foot. Taking that right foot, taking the sole of the foot onto the earth. And taking it in about a 45-degree angle. Taking a deep bend through that left knee, taking the left arm onto that left knee. Lifting that right arm and taking that right arm all the way up and over that right ear. Coming into Krasner, our extended side ankle pose. Again, shoulders dropping away from the ears, core engaged. Reaching that right fingertips all the way to the sky as you root down through that right foot into the earth. Feeling that diagonal line of energy making its way from the hand to the foot and back up from the foot to the hand. Inhaling, windmilling yourself, coming all the way back into our warrior two. Holding here in our warrior two, shoulders dropping down, coming into our dynamic warrior. Inhaling, reaching all the way up. Exhaling, coming all the way down. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, coming down. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, reaching down and holding here for a breath. And then starting to straighten out through that front leg. And then coming through our Trikonasana, straightening and lengthening out through that left side. Taking that left hand inside that left leg as you take that right arm all the way up to the sky. Reaching up nice and tall with that right arm. Breathing nice and deeply, exhaling nice and slowly. And then release, coming all the way back to the center, taking the hands onto the waist, and then swiveling yourself back around. And then taking yourself down outside that front left foot again. And then holding here in our low lunge just for a moment, keeping the shoulders back and down. Breathing nice and deeply, exhaling nice and slowly. And then from here, elongate along the spine, feeling that lengthening through the spine. And then taking a soft bend through that back knee, lifting yourself all the way up, coming into that high lunge on this side, taking the shoulders back and down. And then inhaling, taking the arms all the way up to the center. Exhaling, coming back into that high lunge. Inhaling and exhaling, moving in and out of the high lunge. And then holding here, taking the hands back outside that front foot. And then from here, dropping that back knee down. And then letting go of that left leg and taking that left leg back to meet the right. And then sitting all the way back onto your heels, coming back into the child's pose and holding in your child's pose for a breath or two. Just breathing nice and deeply, exhaling nice and slowly. Remember, your arms don't have to be out in front of you. If it's more comfortable to have your bend through your arms or take your arms behind you, then that's fine. Come into whichever variation of the pose feels good for you. Just coming back to center, breathing nice and deeply, exhaling nice and slowly. And then coming up onto all fours. And then from here, just gently dropping yourself down onto your mat, coming to lie face down onto your mat, coming into our Shavasana modified. Taking your hands out in front of you, taking your legs all the way behind you, moving through opposite arm and opposite leg again, really engaging through the spine, all the muscles along the spine. So inhaling, as you inhale, lifting up that right arm and that left leg, reaching all the way out. Exhaling back to center. Inhaling, left arm, right leg, again, lifting the arm and the leg and looking for that length. Exhaling back to center. Inhaling, right arm, left leg, again, looking for the length rather than the height, or the length and then the height. Exhaling back to center. Inhaling, left arm, right leg, really using the muscles along that spine. Exhaling back to center. One more time each side. Inhaling, taking that right arm and left leg and reaching them away from one another. Exhaling to center. Inhaling, left arm, right leg. Exhaling to center. Well done. Taking the hands, placing one hand on top of the other, making a little pillow. Resting the forehead on that pillow, coming into a Krasner, crocodile pose. Tops of the feet resting on the earth, palms resting one on top of the other. Letting that forehead just rest on top of the hands, and letting the tension go through the shoulders. Feeling the shoulders open, feeling the release. Breathing nice and deeply, exhaling nice and slowly. Remembering the breath. Staying focused with the breath. Listening to the breathing, using that breath to help guide and support the practice. Letting go and then taking your hands underneath your chest, lifting yourself up onto all fours using that core. And then taking that right leg and crossing it over the left. And then sitting back over your heels to come to rest on your hips. Coming back into that seated pose. Setting up for Shavasana, we'll do some rocking boats tonight. So sitting up nice and tall, finding that length through the spine, dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Taking the feet up onto, coming onto your toes. Remembering the rocking boat's not good for you. You can stay with a half boat and hold in the half boat, really engaging through the core. So if you want to come through into the rocking boat, starting off with that half boat. And taking a nice long inhale. A nice long exhale. And then inhaling, taking yourself back. And then exhaling, really engaging, coming back into that half boat. So inhaling, releasing, exhaling, engaging. Inhaling, releasing, just moving with that breath, moving in and out of the boats. Nice long inhales, nice long exhales, engaging through that core. And then holding here in the half boats for a few breaths. And then letting yourself lower down and holding in that low boat here. And then gently release, crossing the legs, taking the hands outside your hips. And then just lifting the hips up off the floor, feeling that sacral area reset. And then lowering back down. Moving through into our Marichasana. Starting with Marichasana A to begin with. So taking the legs out in front of you, sitting up again nice and tall, feeling those sit bones connected to the earth. Taking that right knee and hugging that right knee in towards the chest. Keeping that left foot long, keeping the toes pulling towards you. Taking that right hand and just placing it in between your thigh and your foot and making sure your foot's about a hand's distance apart away from the thigh to give you room to get your chest through here. So really hugging that knee in towards the chest, sitting up nice and tall, taking that right arm and reaching it all the way up to the sky. And then coming all the way forward with that right arm and then putting that right arm behind and around that right leg. And then holding here, this is where you want to stay. If you'd like a little bit more, you can take that left arm all the way around and you can just gently clasp the hands or the wrist or the fingers and hold here with the bind and come into a forward fold. If the bind's not good for you and you can't get the bind today, don't worry about it. Just stay here and working on coming through and forward as far as you can. If you'd like to, you can grab a strap or a scarf, and I'll show you from the behind, hopefully. You could come through and hold the scarf or the belt, holding it in your right arm, taking it around and coming around, and you can try and flick it around and clasp here and hold this way. If that helps, you can try that, and then you can start to walk your hand up towards the belt until eventually you can clasp the other hand. So whatever feels good for you, wherever you're at tonight, wherever you can come in your Marichasana, then to come here and hold here just for a few breaths, using a block, using a scarf or a strap, or just not bothering with the bind at all, just kind of taking your arm around your leg and coming into that forward fold as far as you can. Holding here and breathing nice and deeply. And then gently release, and then we'll repeat through the other side. So letting that right leg come to the earth. Nice, strong, straight right leg. Pulling the toes towards you again, making sure that that left foot, which is coming up through that left knee with that left foot, making sure the left foot's about a hand's distance away from that right thigh, so it gives you that room to get that chest forward in between your legs. Lifting that left arm all the way to the sky, finding that length through the spine, and then coming all the way forward, and then taking that left arm and just taking it around that left leg and staying here. This is where you need to be. This is where you are. You don't have to get the bind. You can stay here and just come forward in between the thighs here. If you can get the bind, taking that right arm all the way around, clasping the fingertips, the hand or the wrist, and holding into the bind here. Nice long inhales, nice long exhales, coming into that forward fold. Remember, you can play with the scarf or the belts, and then work towards the bind in time if you don't have the bind now. And then release, letting go. And then from here, moving into our Pavarita Janushirshasana, taking that left leg again, putting that left leg in towards that right thigh, and taking that right leg just out diagonally slightly. Keeping a soft bend through that right knee to begin with, taking that left hand inside that right foot, and then taking that left hand, and then just inhaling and taking that left arm all the way through, so you're about to shoot an arrow from a bow, reaching that left arm all the way behind you. And then exhaling, coming all the way forward, left hand to right hand. Inhaling again, reaching that left hand all the way behind you, nice and long, opening through the chest. Exhaling, coming all the way through hand to hand. Inhaling again, so you're about to draw a bow and an arrow, or a string and a bow to shoot an arrow. And then exhaling, coming all the way forward. And then from here, you can start to work, straightening out through the leg, but you don't have to straighten the leg. You can have a bent knee if that's better for you. And again, inhaling, taking that left arm all the way behind you. And then starting to exhale and take that left arm all the way up over that left ear, opening and looking up towards that left arm, holding here for a breath or two. Eventually, you should be able to come and clasp your big toe on your right foot. But remember, you can keep that knee bent, that right knee bent, and just focus on the opening and the side bend here. And then gently release, coming all the way back to center, and we'll move through to the other side, changing through the legs, taking that left leg straighter, taking that right knee foot in towards the left thigh. Again, starting off with a bent left knee, and then we'll work towards a straight knee if you can. Taking that left hand inside that left foot, taking that right hand beside the left, and inhaling, opening everything up, taking that right arm all the way behind you, looking behind you towards that right thumb, and then inhaling, coming all the way forward, and then coming all the way back, opening up through that chest, all the way forward. So again, inhaling, coming all the way back, opening up through the chest. And then if you want to, you can start to straighten out through that left leg, but you don't have to have a straight leg. You can keep that knee bent. And then taking that right arm up over that right ear, opening up and looking up through that right side of the body. Breathing nice and deeply, holding here. Nice long inhale, nice long exhale. Doing that stretch and that opening up through the chest, through the sides, through the hamstring. And then gently release, coming all the way back to center. Well done. Taking the knees just in front of you, and let's just swing the knees from side to side. Breathing nice and deeply. Coming around to set up for our Setu Bandhasana, our bridge pose, moving through our bridge breathing. So sitting back and then coming to lie back down onto your back, taking your hands just outside your hips, setting up for our bridge breathing. So inhaling, and as you inhale, lifting up the hips, and as you lift up the hips, lifting up the arms, taking them all the way over your head. Exhaling, lowering the hips and lowering the arms at the same time. Inhaling, lifting up those hips, lifting up the arms up behind the head. Exhaling, lowering all the way back down. Inhaling, lifting all the way up. Exhaling, lowering all the way back down. And one more time, inhaling, lifting that core, lifting the hips towards the sky. Exhaling, lowering everything back down onto the mats. Pulling your knees into your chest, giving yourself a nice big hug in Apanasana, our wind relieving pose. Holding here, breathing nice and deeply. And then taking a hold of your soles of your feet, coming into our happy baby pose. Keeping the lower back onto the mat, not letting that lower back ride up, but keeping that lower back pressed down onto the mat. As you take those knees in towards the armpits, and you open up the heels and reach those heels up towards the sky. Just inhaling here, feeling that release through that lower back, and the release through the pelvic area. Inhaling and exhaling. Really noticing the breath. Feeling the release through that sacral iliac joint. Feeling everything resets. And then letting go. Taking both knees down and then letting the legs fall out to the side of the mat. Coming into Shavasana, relaxation pose. Either lying on your back, but if that doesn't feel good for you, you can lie on your belly or you can lie on your sides. Letting the legs fall out to the side, letting the arms fall out to the side. Palms can be facing up towards the sky to receive from the universe. But if you'd like to feel more grounded, then by all means take the palms down flat onto the earth. Time to slow everything down, slow down the mind. Slowing down that breath. Letting go of control of the breath, letting the breath return to its normal cadence. Slowly releasing all the tension in the body, letting all that tension go through the shoulders, the hips. Coming down through the legs to the feet, feeling where the body connects with the earth, feeling its soles, the heels of the feet. Feeling the hips, the backs of the hands, the palms of the hands, the shoulders and the back of the head. And wherever that body connects with the earth, feeling the earth start to take away the tension, encouraging relaxation. The most important pose of our practice, where we seal in all the good energy. Just relaxing everything. Starting to bring your awareness to any sounds in the room, any sounds outside the room. Just becoming aware of those sounds. Noticing the sounds around you. As you become aware of those sounds, become aware of the vibrations that those sounds make. Feeling vibrations through the outer ear. And then feeling the vibrations coming down through the outer ear into the inner ear. Feeling the vibrations come through into your face, to your lips, to your nose, to your cheekbones, and to your forehead. And feeling those soft vibrations through your face. And how those vibrations help you relax through the face, through the temple, through the scalp. Just feeling all the vibrations moving through the face. And coming down through the throat. Into your shoulders. Coming down your right arm. All the way down the right arm through the elbow to the wrist. Coming down through into the fingers, fingertips, and then into the palm of the hand. Maybe feeling that right palm tingling, that right fingertips tingling with that vibrations of sound. The energy moving through the body. And coming back and taking awareness to the left shoulder. Down through the left arm to the left elbow. the left wrist, down through the hand, through the palm, into the fingertips. And maybe feeling some tingling through that left palm, that left fingertips. And the frequency of the vibration, the energy moving through the body. Coming down through the chest, down through the bandhas, letting those bandhas go, relaxing the bandhas. Feeling the spine relax, feeling each of the natural curves, neutral curves in the spine. Going down into those hips, feeling that vibration move through the hips, feeling the energy from the earth moving through the hips. Coming down through the thighs, down into the knees. Taking a moment to rebalance the chakra in the knees. Giving some recognition to those knees, how hard they work. Just feeling them relax and let go. Coming down through the lower legs, the calf, the shins, through the ankles, going through the tops of the feet, the soles of the feet, the big toes, and then each of the individual toes on your feet, feeling that vibration move through those toes. Just letting the whole body now relax into the mat, feeling Mother Earth taking all the tension away from the body. And as Mother Earth takes all the tension away from the body, you can start to feel your body sinking into Mother Earth. And then slowly, gently, your body starts to become weightless as all the tension leaves. Your body's as light as a feather, just floating now over the mat. No stress, no tension, just completely relaxed, floating on your mat. And then from here, slowly, gently, begin to bring your awareness back into the room. Feel yourself dropping back into your body, becoming more grounded on your mat. Taking some slow, gentle movement through your fingers, through your toes, through your hands and your feet. And then inhaling, taking a nice full long body stretch, taking the hands all over the head, stretching out nice and long. And then pull the knees in towards the chest, giving yourself a nice big hug here. Rocking over onto your side, holding the fetal position just for a moment, just for a breath. And then coming all the way back up to seated, coming back into that nice, easy seat. Sitting up nice and tall, feeling those seat bones connected to the earth. Dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Taking a nice long inhale. And then sighing it all big out with a big exhale. Inhaling again, nice and deeply. Exhaling nice and slowly. Last time, nice big inhale. Nice long exhale. Your hands to your heart center. Giving those hands a nice big rub, generating some heat between the palms, making those hands nice and warm. And then taking the palms and placing them over your eyes. And feeling the heat from the palms penetrate through the eyes, through to the face. Sitting in darkness, just keeping those eyes closed behind the palms of the hands, feeling the energy moving from the palms into the eyes, into the head, into the mind. And then slowly opening your eyes behind your palms, keeping the palms covering the eyes, keeping the gaze down. Slowly start to lower those hands, keeping the gaze down, taking those hands all the way back down. Pressing the hands back onto your knees. And then slowly, gently taking the gaze back up towards the center of the room. From my heart to yours, Namaste. I hope you enjoyed your practice. I hope you enjoy your evening. I hope you're feeling nice and relaxed and chilled after your Shavasana. And hopefully see you guys again soon. Namaste.